Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Sorry I haven't made a video in a long time. I'm currently at school and things have been pretty busy, and I don't actually have like all of my collection here with me or any of the equipment that I usually use to make projects and make videos. So here I am with this little rudimentary setup, and I'm gonna do a short video on my custom Mafex Captain America. I actually just sold this guy. So before I send him off today, I just wanted to document it and show you guys kind of what I did to make this guy. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage of the process, so I'm just gonna have to talk about what I did. First of all, here's the box. I modified it the same way that I modified all of my other Mafex boxes. I have a video on how to do that. And I just prefer it like this because it's a lot easier to store and kind of focuses on the figure itself. So let's get this guy open. And I just keep all the accessories in a plastic bag. Okay, here he is out of the package. And this is the most recently released man nipple head sculpt. Let's see if I can get some good detail on that. And I think it looks really good. It's actually on the same joint as the magnetic sculpt, but it luckily just fits right there on the neck, so you don't have to switch out the neck. Here's what it looks like with the magnetic head sculpt, and I think this is also really good, but it's a lot smaller. I think this fits in scale a lot better given the proportions of the body. So the pants I got from eBay, just a Chinese store. They have so many of the same exact generic cargo pants, just blue cargo pants. They were really hard to get on the body. I actually had to shave down the legs a little bit just to be able to get them on. And as a result, as you might be thinking, the articulation is a little bit limited. So the leg can go up to about there on both legs, which isn't terrible if you're just kind of trying to get some cool hero poses, but the wild articulation that you might have been able to get without the cloth is hindered. And that's kind of the trade-off. You're going for looks, you're not really going for crazy articulation. That being said, the knees can get a little bit over 90, so that's not too bad. The jacket, or the top part, is made from the Notice Studio Steve jacket. I just cut along a seam line that already existed here and there. So the jacket already had a pattern that kind of suited this suit design anyway. And I glued it here and here. And the torso articulation is pretty good. Oh. So he can crunch forward quite a bit, go back quite a bit, go side to side. So I tried to leave a little bit of space here, so when he's standing just straight up, there's a bit of a fold there, but that's just so that he can get all the range of motion that he had before. I also cut along here. So in the original Mafex, there's some red detailing and some extra parts near the diaphragm, and I cut those off with an X-Acto knife. And the arms, this one has a little bit better articulation than the right arm. Can move up to there. The elbows can get a little bit past 90. They can also go out to the side all the way. Same goes for this side. And it can go up to a little bit less. It just has something to do with the way that the cloth fits around it on this side, hinders this side a little bit more. But surprisingly good articulation given the cloth, especially at the elbows and the knees. So I'm pretty happy with that. I also just added some washes and paintwork to the boots, a little bit of brown because they were pretty much straight gray, and touched up some of the paint on like the belt buckle and these buckles and everything, just so that everything was a little bit more crisp and clean. Now let's talk about these red cloth bits. I bought a shirt from the thrift store and I cut it up into little patterns, and I had to fold all of these edges. So none of these are exposed cut edges. They're all folded over just so we don't see any fraying. And this was pretty much the hardest part of this project because I didn't have any reference for the templates for these little patterns. And that was kind of difficult, and I had to do some trial and error, and I made some pieces that didn't work at all. But I'm very happy with how these look. This wraps around his arm and tucks in right there to where there's already a seam in the jacket. Same goes for this one here. And I think this just takes it to another level. I could have left these red details out and just been like, you can do without that, but I'm very happy with how these turned out. Now there's also some on the pants, and I tried to replicate the shape that's there. If we can compare it to what's on the box. It didn't quite work out, especially given that the pockets are in different places on these pants. But, you know, it gets the point across that there's a red pattern there. And obviously I added some acrylic washes to all of the cloth bits so that they would be the same color, because these blue pants were a lot more vibrant when I first got them. So I added some black wash and some light bluish gray wash as well, just to replicate the color of the Steve jacket. I also added some washes to this as well, trying to replicate this color blue. And I think it all matches pretty well. The helmet does have a bit more of in person, a greenish tone to it than the rest of the suit, but that won't really matter if you're using this head sculpt here. Here he is with the SH Figuarts Civil War Black Panther. He is a little bit taller, and here's the concave Mark 46, also from Civil War, and he's also a little bit taller than this guy. So he's pretty big, but that has nothing to do with any of the modifications that I made to him. He's just, you know, that's the Mafex body right there, just with some cloth. And here he is with some of his accessories. This is just the broken shield that comes with the Mafex Captain America. And I glued this piece. This was originally interchangeable with kind of an unused strap, but I glued that in place just because it kept falling off. And the way that I've modified it, you can't really attach the shield carrier plastic thing to his back. So I decided to just glue that in place just to avoid that falling off all the time and being really annoying. And it fits just fine over the arm, doesn't fall off, and looks really good. And then here's just the Mjolnir that came with the original figure. Now this is the man-nipple battle damage shield. This is made from, like, I think real aluminum metal. And the only modification I've made to this is I made a tiny little incision here, just so that when you're putting it over his arm, there's no possibility of it kind of messing with this fabric piece that I've glued in here. And here's what that looks like on the figure. As you can see, if I hadn't made that incision, it would be pretty tight getting this on here, and you can't tell that there's a cut, especially when you're viewing the shield from the front. So there you have it. There's my custom Mafex Captain America. The more I look at this guy, the more I mess with him, the more I regret selling him. But I think I've got to stick to my code of having pretty much just one version of my favorite characters. So having multiple versions of Captain America, while it would be nice, I kind of prefer to just have a smaller collection. And I've just finished a first Avenger Captain America that I'll do a video on once the man nipple head comes in. I was using this head on that version of Captain America, but I decided to include this in this package because, you know, this is the Endgame hairstyle that he had. So yeah, very pleased with how this came out. I hope that the auction winner really enjoys this figure and treats it with care. Thanks guys for watching, and stay tuned for my next video, which may not be for a while, but it'll happen.